something. Now, this is a little touchy for people. Again, is if you do a mutual masturbation session with your partner, because then you're able to watch them and kind of see what sensation, what kind of touch works good for them.
I was
Go
going to
ahead.
say, it's great that you got on that subject because I actually had 2 or 3 questions specifically about being uncomfortable to do that, but wanting to, and how to even approach it. So it's a good segue.
So you could even just say something, or even like an invitation, you know what I mean? Make it playful, or have a conversation and just say, I think it would be really cool if we just had like a mutual masturbation session. Instead of like a master date, like have a masturbation date,
Yeah.
just like self pleasure, and show them what your turn ons and what works good for you, and even take turns and then starting to do it together. And then they can learn a lot by how they watch you touch yourselves and everything, and how they see you get more aroused. They can understand your body and like where your turn ons are more, and they'll understand more how to be with you when you're intimate. And not just only, don't make it just educational, just fun, like sharing that intimacy, being able, it's also a test and one communication, because you need to be able to communicate this with your partner. And when challenging time talking to our partner like this, it's like, okay, we can have sex with someone, but we can't talk. We don't know how to communicate with one another. Like that's what we need to be working on, because then we wonder, like, why isn't our sex that great? Well, if you don't know how to communicate or be intimate in conversation with your partners, then that's going to carry over into the bedroom as well.
Right.
So being able to have this conversation is so important, and just say, let's just have some fun together and explore our bodies, and just like without even the goal of doesn't have to be orgasm, but just fully allowing yourself to be seen by your partner, and fully seeing your partner, honoring them, and how beautiful and amazing they look, how powerful they look in those states of arousal, and when they're able to surrender into their orgasm. Sometimes we're with a partner, especially for females, it can be challenging with the male partner to have an orgasm at the same time, or sometimes it's challenging for us to have an orgasm with the partner. So for them to be able to see us in those states and see what that looks like and how that is good. But part of having an orgasm with a partner, especially for females, is being comfortable with being seen. So you may find that if there's something that's not, you feel completely safe or surrendered with your partner, then even though you're able to orgasm usually by yourself when you masturbate, then all of a sudden with them there, it might make you you're not quite in your comfort zone, and you aren't really fully ready to be seen. And so then you may not have an orgasm, but that'll also be for you, like, what is it that's making me not feel so safe or secure right here? And it might not just be about your partner, but in you, that I'm not ready to fully be seen. And all, do I have any shame about this? Am I worried about what my O face looks like? Like all of those things. And then that can uncover even more for you of like maybe something that's making it more challenging to have this experience when you're having sex with your partner.
Yeah, I completely agree with all of that. I know for me, not all, but almost all my partners I've had like mutual masturbation sessions with.
That's awesome.
And I don't like to, I will never share details on names on who I did what with, because I just don't think that's right. But with all of them that I've done that with, that's like my favorite thing, because you learn so much about their body by watching what they do. And for women, I've noticed a lot of the time, for the women that I've been with, whatever we're doing, like they'll do a lot of like nipple play and things like that. So then I know, okay, well, they like their nipples played with as well. And so that helps down the road. And then with men, a lot of times they touch themselves in different areas while they're doing their thing. And so you kind of know like what other areas to touch, where to put more pressure, to go faster, slow, or you learn so much more about them, and they learn so much about you as well. And I think exactly like you were saying with the communication, if you don't have good communication outside of the bedroom, you're not going to have it in the bedroom. So if you're having trouble bringing up a subject like sexually, I would say make sure that your communication in like everyday life is good, and think if you are actually holding back, because I've done that in the past with several partners where there's something that I wanted, whether it is sexually or not, but I don't voice it. And then I realize it's because I'm not voicing my opinions or my concerns fully in our day-to-day life. For whatever reason, I'm kind of like censoring myself. But once I get to that point of just being more open in a normal like daily setting, then it's a lot easier to be open whenever you're in.
Yes, Definitely,
As
most
far as like doing mutual masturbation or just like broaching that subject with your partner, especially if you've not done it before or not talked about it before with them or with anyone else, I think there's always this fear of like, oh my gosh, are they going to think that I'm dumb? Are they going to think that I'm gross? I will tell you, I mean, I've been with people who have slept with a lot of people and who haven't, men and women. I can't think of a single partner that I've ever had that would think it was weird to do that. They would probably be like, really? Like, you're into that? I didn't think you were open, you know? And most of the time, men or women are going to be okay. Now, that being said, I wouldn't just jump into the conversation, especially if you know that your partner maybe was more on the conservative side or if they're new to exploring this side of themselves, you know, just kind of ease into it. I wouldn't maybe be like, hey, let's do this. Be like, hey, what would you think about, how do you feel about this?
Right. Yeah, that's really great. Those are really great pointers. Everyone's pretty, like, if someone's comfortable enough to have sex with you and you're already having sex with them, then, you know, more than likely they would be comfortable with that. Or even if you're like, you know, if you're not that comfortable doing it, would you want to watch me, you know, or something like that?
Mm-hmm.
That way that they could show them that it's not that scary.
Yeah.
You know, and just be with them. If, of course, if they're comfortable with it. Everything you ever do is always important to have consent and consent. Just because you get consent once doesn't mean you get consent across the board every time. You
Correct.
always ask and always respect someone's limits and be like, you know, that's okay if right now it's a no. And if you ever want to revisit this, change your mind, I just let me know. Like, keep it. Don't be like, okay, then fine, never mind. Like, sometimes we can resent. We're like, well, just forget it then, because you don't want to admit
Yeah.
that you asked something and then you just shut the door on it. And don't do that. Say, hey, you know, it's just something I'm bringing up to explore. And if there's any other ideas that you have that you want to explore something, you know, just know that you can openly communicate with me.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I'm open to receive what you have to say. And even if we decide not to try it now, if you change your mind, you want to try it later, just let me know. Just keep that conversation going.
So my friend just left a comment. She said, masturbating with my partner is one of my favorites that people should be trying. It's 2 times the amount of intimacy and it's cool to see how they make themselves feel good, which I absolutely agree with.